at Joshua Tree National Park, our 23rd national park.
Let's go!
After our break in uploads over the holiday seasons, we decided to start 2023 off with a bit of a spontaneous trip.
Joshua Tree wasn't in our initial plans for 2023, but we noticed some really cheap flights to Phoenix, so we booked a weekend trip for Kelly's birthday, rented a car, and drove over. We have one full day and a couple partial days in the park, which we feel should be enough to see most of what the park has to offer. We're starting the day with Arch Rock, which is a 1.1 mile out and back trail. It's a pretty popular trail, so we wanted to get an early start to beat the crowds. We decided to attempt the Heart Rock Trail. It's connected to the Arch Rock Trail. We didn't think we were gonna do it because reading online, it's not a marked trail and it can be difficult to find Heart Rock itself, but when we got here, we saw some trail markers leading to it, so we don't know exactly how long it is, but we figured we'd give it a go while we're here. So the Arch Rock offshoot was super easy to find. I don't know how dated the stuff we were reading online was, but it was marked all the way up to the rock, as you can see it right there. And it was less than a quarter mile each direction. And really cool, unique geologic feature, definitely worth checking out.
Our next stop is Skull Rock, which is another pretty popular attraction right off the main road.
There is like a 2.2 mile loop that connects from one end of the rock to the other one, but we're not gonna do that to try and maximize our time elsewhere in the park.
Next up is the Hidden Valley Trail, which is a 1.1 mile loop. Parking lot tends to fill up later in the day, so be sure to get here early.
Joshua Tree National Park was established in 1994 and is a designated dark sky park. Two distinct desert ecosystems, the Mojave and the Colorado, meet in the park, making for a unique mix of flora and fauna.
The Joshua tree, the park's namesake, is a member of the agave family. The tree grows quickly for the first 5 years, but slows considerably after that. It branches when its growing end is met with frost, stimulating growth and flowering. If you see a Joshua tree with no branches, that likely means it hasn't bloomed.
In addition to the Joshua Tree, the park has a good amount of ranching and mining history, with the structures of a lot of them still being intact. Our next hike is the Wall Street Mill, which is a 2.2 mile out and back.
It leads to the ruins of a mill that was used to process gold in the 1930s.
We thought about doing Barker Dam too, but after checking in with someone at the visitor center, it doesn't sound like there's much water in it right now. And from what we've heard, it's not really worth the stop if that's the case. So we opted to do this instead. We have one more stop in the park before going to get some lunch. We're going to Keys View and kind of the western part of the park. There's not a trail to it, you just kind of drive straight up to it, but it's supposed to be a really pretty overlook of the Santa Rosa Mountains. The view up here is completely breathtaking. It's definitely worth the stop.
It's amazing. And on another exciting note, we're headed back into town for lunch. So when the food came out, we kind of forgot to record since we were so hungry. We just devoured it right away, but it was so good.
It was delicious. We went to this little Mexican place on the north side of 29 Palms called Artega's, and it was fantastic.
So good.
Like she said, it was so good it made us completely forget to record anything. We're at our next trail now. It's the last one we kind of have planned for today, tentatively. It's the 49 Palms Oasis Trail, and there have been some kind of mixed signage things as to whether or not it's open, but we've seen lots of people. It seems like it's open, so we're gonna give it a try. It's about 1.5 miles each way.
Cool, you can see it from here already. I'm so excited to see what it looks like when we're there. And there's so many little red cactus you can see everywhere.
It is unbelievable out here.
It's so cool.
It literally looks like an oasis in a movie. Like there's not like a clear pool of water. You can tell the ground is wet. That's why the palm trees are thriving out here. There's about half of it that it says it's a restoration area, so you have to stay away. But there's one you can kind of walk down through, and then one where you can see it all very clearly. It's awesome.
So cool.
So we had a slight change in plans than what we initially said at the start of the video. We'd initially thought we were gonna have a full day in Joshua Tree and then a couple partial days. But after driving through the whole park on our first partial day and kind of finishing everything that we had planned to do by around 2 p.m. today, we decided to book a hotel room in Tucson, Arizona. So we're gonna drive there tonight, have one more stop in the park on the way out at Cottonwood Springs. But tomorrow, with our partial day before we fly out, we're gonna check out Saguaro National Park. We thought it would be awesome to see another national park while we're in Arizona. And then we're a lot closer to Phoenix too for the flight home. So then we can spend a little bit more time there than we would be able to here anyways. Cottonwood Springs is an oasis, a lot like the one we saw on the 49 Palms Trail. This one has a parking area right next to it by the south entrance, making it much more accessible.
That's it for our time at Joshua Tree National Park. It was amazing.
Definitely exceeded our expectations. But be sure to stay tuned for our next video where we check out Saguaro National Park.